Okay, going over a couple little things in the mobile workshop trailer. Most of you have not seen it this clean, right? So I'm organizing stuff. Um, Truck had a breakdown yesterday, so I'm waiting for parts to come in. I'm going to be doing more videos. Fortunately, I can afford to take a couple of days off work. The advertising money from YouTube showed up on a direct deposit. So I'm going to take it easy for a couple of days while I wait for some parts to arrive and tidy this up. We've got to get this thing roadworthy by the end of summer. Anyway, so let's talk about these thermoelectric coolers. I've been picking these things up at flea markets and yard sales and had kind of mixed results, and I would say mostly bad results with them. They're usually not nearly as expensive as a 12-volt fridge, but you need to never mistake these things for an actual refrigerator. All they are is basically an iceless cooler that uses a small heat transfer device to turn your electricity into a little bit of heat transfer through a thermocoupler that's usually inside of there somewhere. Now, somewhere else in a modern society where you'll see or modern technology where you'll see thermocouplers a lot is cooling systems on especially your high-end gaming PCs. A lot of times they have a thermocoupler engineered into the system to cool the main processor core. And they're not real refrigerant, okay? It's just a cooler. That's all this thing does. It keeps stuff from being boiling hot. Right now it's about 80 degrees out, so I decided to test these things. This one is so-so. I pulled it out of storage and found all this fucked up stuff inside. So that's kind of burned in or something. I'm going to get some PAM oven cleaner. I'm going to spray that in there, see if that comes out. I can't tell if that's something that got burned in there or something that is rust. It's really hard to tell. But we're going to clean that out and get that straightened out. But, you know, these things 40, 50 bucks, and then yard sale stuff 5 bucks. Same story with this. I think it was 10 bucks. I haggled them down to 5. Got it on off. So what I would suggest on something like this is hardwiring it into your 12-volt system. Hardwire it and then control whether it's on or off with the power button here. I may be installing it in my van. I don't know. I did have it here in a trailer about where that air compressor is right now, but I'm rearranging things in here. I found out I was really overtaxing the suspension as far as on-the-road mobility goes here. So I got to rearrange a lot of stuff here and make some decisions on what doesn't go with me. The decision on this thing has not been made yet, but it's about 80 degrees out. They say these things will cool 20 to 40 degrees cooler than whatever the outside is. So if it's 100 degrees out, all this thing's going to do is get you down to 80 degrees. You know what? That's still warm beer. Okay, that's not really a replacement for something that's capable of making ice. As far as size go, I don't know how that matters, but on general purpose cooling, what you want to do is you want to more or less match the size of the cooler to the amount of stuff that you want to keep in there. And if you end up with airspace in a freezer or a cooler, you need to fill it up with something. And generally the cheapest option to fill that space is going to be frozen ice water jugs. Okay, you just get some 1-gallon water jug, milk jug type stuff. You fill it with water, you put it in the conventional freezer, you'll freeze it, use that to take up the extra space in either a cooler or a freezer. Now in refrigerators, that's a little bit of a different story. In these little types of coolers, anything that adds thermal mass to the contents is a good thing. But in this sense, what I really want to do is have the air mass in there and see how it's going to cool something. So at 80 degrees, there's a little temperature sensor in here, was able to get it down to 55. When I have this charge controller that tells me how many amps I'm totally drawing off all my loads right now. So right now it's drawing 3.9 amps, but that's including this lighting, okay? So what I notice is when I turn the light off, everything starts dropping, right? Okay, so 1.5, 1.6. From what I could tell, this little unit has a cycle to it, okay? It has a cycle. The fan's going all the time, but there is some sort of a cooling cycle, because at one point that went up to 5 amps. The other thing is that not the most efficient thing to run this through relatively long cords. I could cut the cord shorter and get it directly into my larger diameter wiring through a fuse here. It's just that all these benches, all this stuff is on wheels, so this is made to be all emptied out, put into a building or a tent or something like that, and then I would be able to use this cargo trailer to haul construction materials or whatever. So what it looks like is this thing doesn't use a lot of power, and because it doesn't use a lot of power, it doesn't do a whole lot of cooling. We turn the lights back on, we're going to see the power usage go right back up. And because I'm running a 400 watt system here, and this thing is warm, very warm to the touch right now. That's why I have it mounted on a standoff here, very warm to the touch. We're still at 100%, I'm still 13.2 volts. I've got 18.4 amps being produced, and so I'm using a lot less amps than my solar's putting in, which means I got lights on and I'm burning fridge for free. Okay, not costing me anything to run this. I could even run my regular inverter, run something off the 110. The problem is that when you're running 110 stuff like refrigerators and freezers just constantly, you have to be capable of producing 3 times the power that you use. So on these types of coolers, you know, it's okay. You just can't live like this long term. But it's you know, you want to keep a little bit of food cool, like say you got some deli stuff and you want to keep it cool. It's at some place. It's okay for that. And at that stage, you know, how far off the grid would you be? So you want to keep some macaroni salad or something kind of from getting warm and starting to get a little rancid on you. Then these things are good. But if you're trying to go and just chill drinks to make them really cool, like here we've got our big can of Dog Bite Lager Ale. You know, that's still warm beer. I think it's going to go to the regular fridge here at the house before I actually drink it. You'll see there's not a lot of space inside these things, but as I put my hand on here, it's pretty cool to the touch. So if you stick something in here that was relatively cool to begin with, and you're in and out of it throughout the day, well, that may not be such a bad thing. It's just that compared to a regular cooler, the other thing that you're dealing with on this is there's less insulation. Okay, the way this door mates up with that lip there, it's not super sealed. Okay, so if I just had a regular cooler and put a jug of ice in there, I think I'd be okay for the day too. You know, it's not that bad. If I were to put the jug of ice in here to help keep things cool, realize there's not a lot of space to begin with. You know, so if you had a blue ice pack or something you put, let's say, up here, you know, it's okay. But a lot of people are kind of wondering what to do for refrigeration in an off-grid situation. Just realize with these little coolers, whether you're paying $100 for it new or $10 at a yard sale, you're getting what you pay for.